This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. We're going to continue with Grudge Match Volume 21. Now, I want to talk about a great heavyweight championship bout that took place June 11th, 1982, between two heavyweights, heavyweight Jerry Cooney and WBC heavyweight champion Larry Holmes. But I want to get into this fight, but I need to do it with you right here on the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Larry Holmes, Eastern assassin, born November 3rd, 1949, in Carper, Georgia. Now, he was raised in Eastern Pennsylvania and earned the nickname the Eastern Assassin. Larry Holmes stood 6 foot 3.5 inches and weighed 196 to 255 pounds. He managed himself and was trained by Richard Ketty, Eddie Futz, and Ray Arcel. Larry Holmes had the greatest tool in the toolbox, the master jab. He would learn this jab by sparring with the great Muhammad Ali and Smoking Joe Frazier. He didn't learn it as a tool, but he learned it just to keep these monsters off of him. They were fantastic fighters. He awed them, and he was just sent there to train and spar with them. And boy, did he learn his lesson. And he learned how to use that jab just to survive in those gym wars. Larry Holmes would have 26 heavyweight championship bouts and defend his title 20 times, just 5 fights short of the great Joe Louis, with 25 title defenses. Larry Holmes was 48-0 before losing to Michael Spinks in 1985, and then he would lose to him again in 1986. And unfortunately for him, he couldn't tie Rocky Marciano's record of 49-0. 1978, he would face Ken Norton because he was in an elimination match that was caused by Leon Spinks and Muhammad Ali. And the WBC belt was stripped and it became up for grabs. Ken Norton was promised a rematch with Muhammad Ali. So he was in the tournament, and when he defeated Jimmy Young, that made him eligible to face Larry Holmes. And I'll tell you, 1978 was some fight. It was fight of the year, perhaps fight of the decade. 15 rounds of brutality. One of the greatest heavyweight championship bouts that I've seen in my lifetime. 1977, United States tournament bout. March 17th, Horace Robinson, San Juan, Puerto Rico. He knocked him out in 5 rounds. September 14th, Fred Hope, Las Vegas, Nevada, knocked him out in 7 rounds. November 5th, Ibar Arati, Los Angeles, Nevada, knocked him out in 10 rounds. Iran Arrington was his name. Ernie Savas, Ken Norton, Alfredo Evangelista, Ozzy Ocasio, Mike Weaver, Lorenzo Lazant, Larry Jones, Scott Ledoux, Muhammad Ali, Trevor Berbick, Leon Spinks, Ronaldo, Mr. Snipes would be just a few opponents that Larry Holmes would face. But on June 11th, 1982, he would face this man here, Jerry Cooney. Jerry Cooney was a phenomenal fighter. He won the Golden Gloves in New York, and he was talk of the town. You see, there have not been a white heavyweight champion since Rocky Marciano. Now, you had a few that came close, such as Jerry Quarry, Oscar Bonavena, and George Chuvalo, just to name a few. Now, Jerry Cooney was born August 4th, 1956 in Huntington, New York. He had a professional record of 28-3-24 knockouts. He participated in the 1973 New York Golden Gloves. 1980, May 25th, he would face Jimmy Young. Atlantic City, New Jersey. I was at that fight. It didn't last 4 rounds. October 24th, he would face the great Ron Lyle, Uniondale, New York. Knocked him out in 1 round. I was at that fight. Ron Lyle gave George Foreman all he could handle. It was the fight of the year. 1981, He would face Ken Norton, May 10th, Madison Square Garden, first round knockout. I was at that fight. One of the most brutal knockouts you can ever see. And I was very hurt by that because I like Ken Norton. And the beating he took was unnecessary. So I was rooting for Larry Holmes in 1982, June 11th, Las Vegas. I saw it on closed circuit. And when Larry Holmes knocked out Jerry Cooney in the 13th round, I jumped for joy. Not because I didn't like Jerry Cooney. I didn't like the way the fight was being set up. I didn't like that Jerry Cooney knocked out Ken Norton. I didn't like that Jerry Cooney knocked out Ron Lyle. I didn't like that Jerry Cooney knocked out Jimmy Young. But I definitely didn't like the way Larry Holmes was being treated. You see, Don King was a great promoter, but he hyped the fight out to be the Great White Hope. No heavyweight champion since Rocky Marciano. And Larry Holmes had paid his dues. He was in the tournament when Ken Norton. He trained in Split Rock with Muhammad Ali and Smoking Joe Frazier. He was in there sparring with Tim Witherspoon and Michael Dokes. He did all what was asked of him. And Jerry Cooney just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and they used his color as a particular event against Larry Holmes. So when Larry Holmes knocked him out in 13 rounds, it was vindication for the fight fan. Larry Holmes, fantastic fighter. Jerry Cooney was 25 years old, stood 6 foot 6 inches. He weighed 225 and a half pounds, and he had a reach advantage of 81. Larry Holmes was 32 years of age, stood 6 foot 3 inches, and weighed 212 and a half pounds, and had an 81 reach advantage. Chuck Hall was the announcer. Dwayne Ford, Dave Marotti, Jerry Roth. He had a brother by the name of Charlie Roth. Jerry Roth was a judge, and Charlie Roth was a timekeeper. James Byrd was counted for the knockdown seconds. Referee was Mills Lane. And like I said, I saw that fight, closed circuit TV. And it was one of the greatest fights that I've ever had a chance to witness because of the circumstances. Larry Holmes was always a victim of the circumstance, but he got his just due when he knocked out Jerry Cooney in the 13th round. Eddie Foote was in the corner of Larry Holmes, and Victor Valley was in the corner of Jerry Cooney. Victor Valley was a very, very nice man. I remember him several times in Gleason's gym. He used to talk to me and explain to me about old-time fighters. And he would show me some tips on the heavy bag. But he was always talk about that fight with Jerry Cooney and Larry Holmes. Victor Valley fought Pancho Villa in the 1920s. He was an outstanding flyweight. But I got to tell you, this fight was a dear to my heart. It was vindication for Larry Holmes. Jerry Cooney was a very good fighter. He's a good Samaritan. He does good work for the fighters who are retired. But that night, June 11th, 1982, I was rooting for Larry Holmes. Salute to Jerry Cooney and salute to Larry Holmes. I got to just add a footnote that Larry Holmes had a beautiful left jab and great timing. And when Jerry Cooney had a habit of looping his right hand, it unfortunately backfired on him because Larry Holmes would throw an overhand right to him. And it would hit him on the top of the head, it would cut him, and it would stagger him in the 6th round. And it would hurt Jerry Cooney's left eye. And from that point, you can see the difference in Jerry Cooney. And Larry Holmes would consistently pump that jab. He had beautiful timing on the left jab. Jerry Cooney had a wonderful jab as well. But Larry Holmes never stopped. He kept pushing the jab. He kept dropping the right hand. He would throw uppercuts and left hooks. And eventually he would get Jerry Cooney out of there. In the 13th round, 2 minutes and 52 seconds of that round. Fascinating fight. I'll always remember that fight. Salute to my subscribers. This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Grudge Match, Volume 21. Fascinating. Salute to my subscribers. Peace. Look out for Ringside Historians, myself, Kurt Sugar, Brother Blood Boxing.